Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Early Edge. We are brought to you by BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. I see the chat is already going off. Hello, Fantasy Life, Liddy, Jeff Stenberg, Mark Buckholtz, KC3, Brad Morris. Thanks for being in here, and thanks for hitting the like button. You might like our recap screen over the last 3 or 4 efforts. Look at this, 9 and 5, the left side. Oh my gosh, Matt Snyder is perfect. Chip Patterson and me are perfect in golf. We've got a couple hits and misses. Buckets goes 1 for 2. Taft goes 1 for 2, but don't forget that one is plus 275, and the other one he put out was a plus 1100 top 5 play. So we are absolutely smashing it in golf. Look at all the plus money, the plus 150, the plus 275. We've got, where else? In the SportsLine picks, we go 1 for 2. It has been a pretty solid week for us, so let's try to make it even more solid. Let's bring in some solid contributors, some of the best that Early Edge has to offer. We got Mike McClure, we got Larry Hartstein, we got Matt Snyder. Larry, I'm going to start with you, man. How you doing on a Monday? We're just Antonio Cromartie days away from NFL kickoff.
Is that 31?
It is indeed.
Okay, and I'm seeing some other famous 31s in a quick search, but I'm kind of upset that I didn't have anything great, but I'll come back with something.
Sniper, do you have a 31 from your Chicago Bears by any chance?
Absolutely. Nathan Vasher, days away from the NFL season. We could go Rashaan Salam. I think he's more well-known, but Vasher was definitely the much better Bear.
Rashaan Salam, if memory serves, Michigan Wolverine, who was supposed to be maybe better. No, did he go to Penn State?
Colorado.
That's Colorado. He played with Cordell Stewart and Michael Westbrook, maybe? I don't know. Now I'm just confusing Colorado teams. Priest home days away, says Mike McClure. Mike, how you doing today? And are you looking forward to NFL
days away? That's the winner.
Yeah, I'm great. I'm looking forward to everything. I'm looking forward to Priest Holmes days away. We're within a month essentially here. So it's great news. Less than a month for college football. Basically after this week, it is full on football season for me here.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of baseball picks on this show today. A total of 4, actually, including the SportsLine pick. We got MLB home run props. I'll tell you, the SportsLine model is just churning them out. Hit another couple yesterday. I believe hit one on Friday. The amount of units that this SportsLine model is up is kind of insane. And this is for the whole season, not just in the last week or two. It has been absolutely lights out. Speaking of Ian Lights Out, I see you in the chat. Thanks for being in here. Kylie, Brent Hall, Gipper's Picks is in here. Let's get some picks. Not just from Gipper's Picks. Let's get some picks from Sniper. Sniper, we got a nice little MLB slate today. You've got 2 picks to start us off. What are they?
Yeah, we'll start with the Brewers minus 137. I typically go closer to plus money or even in plus money, but the Brewers right now are so good. They're firing on all cylinders. I don't feel like this juice is too much at all. And the Braves for me are still a fade, even getting 2 of 3 from the Reds. They're in that weird series where they had to go to the Speedway, and then it was delayed from Saturday until Sunday. The Braves are still a fade for me. Still a not very good team at all. And Quinn Priester on the mound for the Brewers, 9-2 with a 2.57 ERA in his last 15. Just another example of how the Brewers continue to churn out these ridiculously good seasons from all these guys that most people hadn't even heard of heading into this year. Right now, Jackson Chourio on the injured list, it doesn't matter. The Brewers get a bunch of guys to step up. You talking about Bryce Terang, Sal Frelick, Caleb Durbin, Isaac Collins. Again, a bunch of like relative no names are continuing to step up. Now Jacob Mizorowski goes on the injured list. I don't think it's going to matter. The Brewers are just that good right now. Eric Fetty on the mound for the Braves. He's been awful all season, got knocked around in his first start for the Braves. Brewers are 42-16 since May 24th, which is just outrageous. So I think we can continue to ride the wave here against the Brewers and 2 teams that used to play in Milwaukee. So it's like the Milwaukee World Series. Also going to go out west. I'm going to go with the Dodgers on the run line here. Bottom line, when I'm talking about teams that aren't very good right now, the Cardinals, not good at all. 8-19 in their last 27 games. They were a seller in front of the trade deadline. They just dipped below 500. Not a good team here. Sonny Gray has the name recognition, but a 4.38 ERA this season. He's been knocked around several times here in the last month. The Dodgers are much better at home offensively, and maybe they got on track yesterday with those late 3 runs. I do believe that Tyler Glasnow is going to dominate for the Dodgers on the mound against the Cardinals. He has a 2.16 ERA at home. So I like the Dodgers to kind of run away with this one. I'm going to go with them on the run line at plus money.
So you were talking about the Brewers and how hot they've been. Can I ask you something? I believe it was Friday night. I thought two of the most exciting games, maybe I'm overstating it, so that's why I'm asking you. Two of the most exciting games I've seen all season were the Colorado Rockies versus the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Marlins
Yankees.
or Yankees. I mean, I never did I think the Marlins would be playing this well, but that two games would transpire pretty much at the same time like they did.
Well, true. The Marlins, actually, the only series they've lost since late June was to the Brewers. So that's how good the Marlins have been. They're playing spoiler on anybody and everybody. And also they avenged that by beating the Brewers in a series about a week and a half ago. So the Marlins have been unbelievable. But yeah, that game was funny because all three relievers that the Yankees acquired at the trade deadline, all three got knocked around and crushed by the Marlins. But then the Coors game, a good illustration of why I very, very rarely play anything in Coors Field, just because it's so unpredictable unless you're going with like an offensive player. But for the Pirates to get a 9-0 lead and then also lead 12-4 and also 15-6 and still lose the game is just outrageous. But it's Coors and it's two bad teams, so you never know what you're going to get there.
I just from a betting standpoint, and I say this to everybody watching, and of course Mike and Larry, you as well. Let's just assume you had Pirates money line in a parlay or something, and you're up 9-0 in the top of the first. Like, you may as well change the channel. That game is absolutely 100% over against one of the worst team, well, the worst team in baseball. The fact that that ended 17-16 is just, from a pure betting standpoint, would have to feel like one of the worst beats that you'd ever see.
100%. I mean, 15-6 in the middle of the fifth inning.
And that's
bad offense.
And that's a great example when you say there are no locks in this business. That's case in point.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got two picks there. We've got some picks in the chat. Before, Mike, we get to your pick on another team that's been pretty hot. Sniper, I want to ask you about Big Cheesy's play. He likes San Francisco money line -125. Any thoughts on that game?
If I can find it, let's see. Oh, it's a 640. Yeah, Pirates. Is that Johan Oviedo? Wow.
Yeah.
Justin Verlander got his first W for the Giants about a couple weeks ago. Sure. I mean, the Pirates are bad. So, and they'd won 8 of 9 before going into Coors and losing 2. But to me, that just says they're not good enough to keep that going. So it's a good time for the backslide.
Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, no comment on that game. Comment on Sniper's game, though, on Milwaukee. Not a price point people particularly love, but I do like the Brewers' first 5 team total. You can play it at 1.5 currently, looking for 2 runs in the first 5, -160. But why I like it, if you look at the correlated markets to it, Fetty, if you look at earned runs, to give up 2 or more earned runs, he is -200, and his outs recorded line is correlated to exactly 5 innings as well. So it's a pretty steep discount at -160 for a second run. Again, remember on Fetty's number, those are earned runs. Any runs count here, even if there is an error and it is an unearned run. This number should be -200, where his earned run prop at 2+ is.
Wow. Okay. So we got an extra play from Mike McClure. And Mike, how about we go to another team total market?
The Blue Jays, Coors Field. I'm headed to Coors Field today. Going to play the Blue Jays in this same market. First 5 team total over 3.5 at even money. Just looking for that 4th run. If you want to play them 6.5 for the full game, I like that as well, as long as you're not going beyond -125. I like this matchup for them. First of all, we know how hot the Blue Jays have been offensively. We know how great Coors Field is. But one thing that's interesting today, looking at the weather across Major League Baseball, perhaps some of you guys can simply feel it. There's a bit of a cool front across a lot of the country. Not the case in Colorado today. It's going to be in the 90s, winds blowing out, very strong hitting conditions on top of that already great environment. Tanner Gordon is who we need to talk about, though. He throws this 4-seam fastball quite a bit, has not been good at all. It is very low mile per hour in terms of the actual velocity. The whiff rate on it down to just 10%, 371 expected weighted on base average. The average exit velocity against it, 93 miles per hour. It's just, simply put, it's a very flat fastball around 91 to 92, very easy to catch up to. I think the Blue Jays put up a big, big number here, and I think they started early, going first 5 team total over 3.5 even money. And again, I still would play the 6.5 for the full game.
Okay. We did lose a Sniper for a moment, but hopefully he will be back on the show. That's what, 3 baseball plays for you. We added probably a 4th and a 5th from Mike, and Big Cheesy had that San Francisco play. We got more baseball to come, including home run model picks. But Larry, we've got a lot of NFL to come as well. I'll tell you what, we're going to get to all of that, including the home run plays, which have just been absolutely on fire, right after this quick message from our partners.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
We are back on the early edge. I'm going to kick us off with some NFL. If you have a favorite 31, I know a lot of 31s have already been put in the chat, but okay, I'll say this first of all, before I get to my pick. We have a network show today at noon, and we've been doing our team profiles, right? We've usually been doing 2 per show. We're doing 4 today. So we're going to have some best bets from prop stars at the end of the show in Major League Baseball, but we're going to go through 4 teams' profiles. And I will say this, if you missed the CBS Sports Network show, those have been cut up, I think, by Ben and put on the SportsLine YouTube channel, but also in your podcast feed. If you look at the Early Edge podcast feed, which hopefully you're all subscribed to, those are popping in there and populating. So make sure you listen to those. They're very easy listens. We're talking 8, 9, 10 minutes, and you kind of get an idea of where a lot of our cappers like in terms of win totals, favorite props, division winners, and things of that nature. Here's a team that I don't think is going to be very good. The Saints. Now, this number has been bet down a pretty good amount at this point. So I didn't want to take the under 5.5 because, frankly, it's like minus 160. I mean, you can absolutely take that. I still think there's tremendous value in it. I just kind of wanted to put a plus number in front of it. So I'm going Saints under 4.5 wins at plus 140. There's other plays that somewhat correlate with this. Like I looked at over at DK, you could take a win streak less than 2 games. That was plus 185. You could take them to be the worst team in the NFL at plus 400. I think there's other teams contending there. But the bottom line is, while the Saints do have a, quote, easier schedule, let's remember that they're the layup to most other teams. So I think it's kind of interesting to kind of see the Saints as having an easy schedule. They are a really bad team. And I don't think they've helped themselves at all at the quarterback position. Obviously, they were beset with the problem with Derek Carr retiring early. So now they got Tyler Shugg. Looks like he's going to be the starter, if not Spencer Rattler. It's a really bad quarterback room. And I don't mean any disrespect. I'm just talking about relative to other quarterback rooms. Then you got the defensive side of the ball. They can't stop the run. They didn't do much to improve the defense. I don't see this defense being I think it's a bottom 5 defense. I think it's a bottom 5 quarterback room. The skill positions, you still got Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave. They've been having injury problems over the last couple of years. Alvin Kamara is 30 years old. You look at the schedule, there are some easy games, especially like the last 6 games. I think there are some winnable games, but the front end of the schedule is so hard that I think when you get to the back end of the schedule, this is a team that's largely going to be looking at the number 1 pick, kind of trying quarterbacks out, trying things out. Don't forget Kellen Moore, brand new head coach. He's also going to be calling the offensive plays. I just think there's a lot going on with the Saints. I don't see them getting to 5 wins. Give me the plus 140 on the under 4.5. Larry, I know you have a football pick. Any opinion on the Saints? And then, Mike, I wanted to ask you about the Saints as well.
Yeah, I agree with you that, they're not trying to win this year. I mean, the players will be, but organizationally, they're setting themselves up for a very nice quarterback in 2026.
Mike?
Yeah, I would echo that. I think they have nothing to compete for really this season. It wouldn't shock me if they frankly finished, right there. Team with the fewest wins this season in the NFL. I think they're going to compete for that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not saying plus 400 is a quote good number. Like, I haven't really evaluated it on that front. I think the Titans are going to be bad, but I think they're going to be better than the Saints. I think the Browns are going to be bad, but I think they're going to be better than the Saints. There's only so many teams that I think are competing here. The only thing the Saints have going for them is the fact that they have a quote easy schedule. But again, they're the easy team on everybody else's schedule. So when you look at some of these teams that they're the quote easier teams for the Saints, they're looking at the Saints being like, okay, that's a winnable game for us. So I just don't see it with the Saints getting to 5 wins. If you want to take the minus number because you don't think the Saints are going to get to 6 wins, but you think they can get to 5, I think that's okay too. All right, let's do some more football, Larry. There's some news out of Rams camp. And the news has been there for a little while, but I think it's slightly more concerning now, and it pertains to Matthew Stafford. So you have a prop on Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, exactly. He met with the spinal surgeon for the second time, Dr. Robert Watkins. And that's not a good sign. It's also not a good sign that he's missing the joint practice that the team is going to have this week, because that's what they said, a week ago. Well, hopefully he'll be back for the joint practices, which are more important than preseason games in terms of your regular starters. So it's starting to get concerning on Matthew Stafford. I'm seeing numbers as low as 36.50, but I found 37.50, under 37.50 and a half. This one was at Caesars. And, he barely got over this last year, and he played 16 games. They love to run the ball. You know about Sean McVay and how much he loves to run the ball. Yes, they did get Davante Adams, but this is a guy that's had fractures in his back. He had spinal contusion. This is just in the last few years. He's 37 years old. They have a competent backup. So if anything, I think they're going to try to manage him through the season to get to the playoffs. And hopefully, he can recapture that magic. But right now it's very concerning for Matthew Stafford. And I love this under.
All right. Yeah, I know you talked about that. Can I ask you something? Because I know there were times where this line was toggling back to 3,700 and a half versus 3,750 and a half. And again, shop your lines, everybody. If it was 3,700 and a half for people, would you still be on the under there?
Yeah, I'm still good with it.
Yeah.
You just shop around to get the best number. My guess is he's going to play about 12 games this season. But right now, that's only a guess. Maybe they're just playing it super smart, super cautious, and he's ready to go week 1 against the Texans. And he plays, 16 games and lights it up with Davante Adams and Puka Nacua. But I think more likely that it's one of those injury-plagued, manage his back type of season.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Let's move on to your baseball play for a Monday night.
Yeah, Sandy Alcantara has been excellent the last couple of starts. He's gone 14 innings now without allowing an earned run. He's very happy that he did not get traded. He's staying with Miami. That's his home. That's where he's comfortable. And he's also said that if you watch him pitch now, he's comfortable with all his breaking pitches. He's not throwing fastballs in counts that he should be throwing breaking balls anymore. And that's one reason that he's kind of turned it around. So I'm going to bet him in the first 5. I did bet him in the first 5 against Jason Alexander and the Astros coming to town. Alexander, mediocre at best, 47% hard hit rate on the season. He's given up 18 hits in his last 13 innings. And I just like the way, how could you not like the way the Marlins are playing? 5 straight wins. They actually have had a crowd there over the weekend. I'm hoping they'll get a nice crowd tonight with some familiar faces coming back as well. But playing Sandy Alcantara and the Marlins in the first 5.
Okay, we've got Danny Brasco in the chat as well, everybody. And when you say Jason Alexander, Larry, obviously everybody, not just me, thinks of
it's
George
hard not
Costanza.
to crack up,
Yep.
Well, so Larry, let me ask you, I'm just going to go blind here. Well, it's blind for you, frankly, because you're not going to have a chance to think of all the other sitcom characters. But is George Costanza a top 5 sitcom character of all time?
I think he's got to be.
He probably is.
Yeah.
Sniper?
I mean, he's my favorite character on Seinfeld. So yeah, top 5 is a good bet that he'd be in there.
Mike, I don't know how many sitcoms you've watched in your day, but do you have a response to this question, or are you opting out?
I mean, I'll opt out, but say, yeah, I would have no objections with it being top 5 all time.
Yeah. I think that might be hey, listen, we got to do social, early edge social corner where we have shows like this, where we have these discussions. I think that would go extremely well. And I know there's a lot in the chat who agree. So if you have a top 5 character that you think might be under the radar, put it in the chat. If you agree with the George Costanza comment, put that in the chat as well. Let's get to some home run plays. And then let's get to some more questions, whether they be NFL or MLB related. Go ahead and fire away. But our top MLB home run plays per the SportsLine model, Riley Green, plus 260 says SportsLine, but the real odds plus 400. Then we go to Bobby Witt Jr., who this show likes a lot, plus 400 versus plus 575. A ton of value there. And then Matt Chapman, a little less value than the other two, plus 460 says the SportsLine model, but the real odds are plus 500. Sniper, any response to either of these 3?
Yeah, I mean, Chapman in Pittsburgh, it's not that great of a home run venue, but I'm not about to doubt the model here. Bobby Witt Jr. jumped out at me. Fenway Park there. Bayo has been throwing well for the most part, but you've got the Green Monster right there. I was also going to look at the Dodgers, maybe the Dodgers left-handers against Sonny Gray, although he's been hit a lot harder by righties this year. So anybody in the Dodger Stadium is actually a great home run park. I know that at least when I was a kid, the reputation was that's a pitcher's park, but it's not. It's a big-time hitter's yard. So I was, to kind of correlate with my pick, maybe looking at some Dodgers there.
Okay. Love that response. Brian M., I like your response too. He says, Sia Nejad, I believe the EE social corner is BPE Friday when there are no conspiracy theories to cover. That's actually true. I don't know if you all noticed. We've been extending that BPE Friday show a little bit. It's starting to trickle towards like the 35 to 40 minute range. And that's not by accident. And that's a lot that has a lot to do with not only the cast on the show, but you guys and girls are on the show too in the chat, and it's really helping things out. So thank you for being in there, and thanks for subscribing to this channel and all those things. ES Gunner 7 says Trey McBride over 4.5 touchdowns. Seems like positive regression is inevitable. Larry, it's impossible to disagree with. Even if you don't like Kyler Murray, I feel like Trey McBride 5 touchdowns makes a little bit of sense.
Oh, yeah. I think this is going to be a monster year for the Cardinals. That's a 3-team race. I can't wait to watch that division. I think we're talking about the 49ers today. So have dug into some Brock Purdy. But, yeah, that to me is going to be, 3 teams, 9 wins or more.
Mike, do you agree that Arizona, that it's a 3-team race as opposed to a 2-team race?
Yeah, definitely think it can be a 3-team race. I think it's kind of similar to the AFC West. I think there's 3 teams in the AFC West as well that could, you could make the case for them all making the playoffs, maybe all winning the division. I think it's very similar on that front. I don't love Arizona a lot there at this point, but I certainly can see where the upside is coming from.
Yeah, I still think it's a 2-team race. Oh, we had this poll before the show. This was put out. If you got into the chat early, you were able to vote for this before 10 o'clock. Who wins the NFC West? We have the Rams at 66%, 49ers at 28%. That is too big of a difference. I think the Rams have become, I like the Rams too, by the way. I think they could go to the Super Bowl. I think they've become a little too trendy at this point. Cardinals 5% and Seahawks 0%. I don't disagree with the Seahawks 0%. I'll be honest, even though that defense is pretty legit. I don't like the Cardinals, Larry, because it just comes down to a Kyler Murray problem to me and him being consistent for an entire regular season. I think the 49ers are getting slept on a little bit. They've lost so many assets, but at the same time, they were so banged up last year. They had a terrible rest advantage. That thing that Warren Sharp puts out there. They have the easiest schedule in the league. You look at their schedule, it looks kind of promising for the 49ers, but still they've got some injury bugs going on right now, especially to their receiver room. So you never know with them. Larry, go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. Already you're dealing with Jawan Jennings. Who knows when Brandon Ayuk will come back? Ricky Pearsall had a day off to kind of manage his hamstring. So right now, some warning signs, but yeah, the schedule is super easy, and you can't keep, when you pay Brock Purdy $265 million, you're not going to be able to keep the guys, like Hufanga and some of the guys on defense that you needed to. But I think Saleh is a huge upgrade over the defense from last year. Everything comes down to the draft picks. A lot of those draft picks were thought to be kind of reaches on the front 7 in particular. If those guys pan out, this Niners team will be okay, but they lost a lot across the defensive line and the back end. So we're just going to have to see how that pans out. Let's go to some baseball before we get out of here on the recap screen. John Odell Sniper says your Cubs team total over 3.5. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I would kind of worry about that one, actually. Nick Lodolo on the mound for the Reds, left-hander. The Cubs have had all kinds of problems with left-handed starting pitching, and I could see him throwing like 6 shutout innings or something. So I would probably avoid that one.
How about, and I know Maestro, you had the Dodgers play, right? So Sites 501 says thoughts on, oh, you did. Okay, my bad. Thoughts on the Dodgers first 5 -0.5. It's -140.
Yeah, I totally would be good with that.
Okay. And of course, Larry had the Marlins play. Okay, let's see. Jeff Stenberg says, Larry, do you like my Rangers tonight? They must be playing the Yankees. Is that accurate?
I'm sure he was just digging for any kind of anti-Yankees talk, That's all he does. Yeah. Okay. So we're not going to answer that one.
The funny thing about that is if you just glance at the pitching matchup and you see Max Fried against Patrick Corbin, you think, okay, that's definitely a Yankees blowout. But Fried's gotten hit a few times in the last month. He's had those blisters. The Rangers have been a little hotter, and the Yankees bullpen showed itself against the Marlins, even with the new acquisitions. So not that outrageous to run with the Rangers there. I assume it's plus money. Decent.
Yeah, it's like plus 120. So I get it. I get it. Hate aside. Let's go.
Judge is still out. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go to one more question from D. Johnson. Sniper, thoughts on Nick Lodolo over 17.5 pitching outs or Hauser over 15.5 pitching outs?
Yeah, Lodolo against the Cubs, lefty I just mentioned, over 17.5 is 6 innings. So I would be good with that. Hauser, I think I'm going to stay away on that because you don't know how the Rays are going to use him. He just got acquired by the Rays, and they're weird with their pitching. Feels like he's probably going to get more than that. We don't know because we don't know how they use him. And the fear of the unknown is one of those things in gambling I don't like to mess with.
Mike, were there any of these questions spark anything for you in terms of any plays you'd recommend?
It's very good pitching day at Wrigley. So I would definitely be comfortable leaning into Lodolo a little bit, but yeah, it's 70s, winds blowing in, as you can see by the total of 7, could be 6.5. Yeah. Great pitching day.
And before we get there, we go. Is George Costanza a top 5 character of all time? 59% say yes, 41% say no. So this always begs the question. You know what? After this show, I'm going to tweet out, give me your top 5 sitcom characters of all time, because it's easy to say no, he isn't, or yes, he is. But I actually want to know what people's top 5 are. So I'm going to tweet it out. I'll tag SportsLine. SportsLine doesn't have to retweet it, but just go to my Twitter page if you want, and you'll get a chance to list your top 5. And then maybe we can revisit this later in the week. Top sitcom character nomination, Carlton Banks, says Danny Brasco. It's great. I don't know if he's top 5 or not. I got to do my list, but that is certainly in the conversation. Absolutely love it. All right, let's get to the recap screen before Chris Kish says, darn, Sia, I have stuff to do today. You're going to make me think of a sitcom list. All right. I've got the Saints under 4.5 wins at plus 140. You can play the Saints unders in various different ways. This is just how I've decided to play it. Sniper, Brewers money line minus 137, and Dodgers run line plus 118. Then we go back to football. Matthew Stafford under 3,750.5 passing yards at minus 110, and the Marlins first 5 minus 130, and then Blue Jays first 5 team total over 3.5 at even money. Did I forget to do the SportsLine play? If so, here it is. Astros Marlins under 8.5 at minus 115. Forgive me for waiting to the end of the show here. Astros Marlins under 8.5 minus 115. That one courtesy of Bruce Marshall. That is our SportsLine play. Our top MLB home run plays: Riley Green, Bobby Witt, and Matt Chapman. Pretty significant value on Riley Green and Bobby Witt Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, what a show. Barney Stinson, yes, Sites 501. He is maybe my number one. He's top 5 easily for me. I love that one. Do not forget CBS Sports Network today at noon. We're going to have Prop Stars giving out some MLB plays, but we're going to be covering 4 different teams. One of those teams is, in fact, the San Francisco 49ers, and I think the Saints are another team that we're covering today as well. Larry, you're going to be on that show. I know we have Claudia Bellafato on that show. Danny Brasco, I believe, is on that show as well, but we've got more shows Thursday at noon and Friday at noon. An early wedge show Friday at 1 o'clock as well, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget the early wedge tonight with me and Mike McClure, our DFS show at 7 o'clock on this SportsLine YouTube channel. Larry, thank you. Sniper, thank you. Mike McClure, thank you. And, of course, Ben on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. Thank you very much. CLE fan Phil Walker. Let's see. Jeff Stenberg, could be Travis, Big Cheesy, Brad Morris. Everybody, thank you for being in here. We'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock for the early wedge, but certainly tomorrow right here at 10 o'clock and maybe on the network show at 12 o'clock today. Thanks for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, we rest our case.